What up? What is happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. Today is a rough day, and especially for the city of Roanoke, Virginia, with the death of Allison Parker and Adam Ward from WDBJ Channel 7. On the phone line, we have Zack Jackson from the K92 Morning Thing in Roanoke, live on Hoppe Hour. How's it going, Zack?
It's going as best as can be, of course. I'm doing well outside of the activities that are going down today. So it's been a crazy day, a surreal day.
Yeah.
But we're keeping on here.
Now, this happened at 6:45 this morning, and that's when you guys are on the air, obviously. Did you guys have WDBJ on in the room?
Not at the immediate time. We started getting reports almost immediately after of something going down. So, we started looking into it. As far as the actual broadcast went, shortly after that, if you look at the timing of it, 7 o'clock is when, network of the affiliates go to the broadcasts of CBS Early Morning and things like that. So at about the time that news started to pour in, they were actually into their national coverage, which I'm sure where they were, it was a process of trying to figure out exactly what had gone down. So they didn't have any breaking news at the time, and I did not see what happened live, but saw it pretty quickly in replays of what had happened.
Now, when you first hear that Allison Parker and Adam Ward have been shot and killed, did you think it was maybe a hoax, or did your heart say that this was real?
We were getting reports. We've been in this city for 13 years.
Yeah.
So, that's our media partner as far as television news reporting goes. So we have a lot of contacts over there. So we were immediately in contact with all of them. And, it was pretty apparent very early in this that something very bad had happened, and we didn't know exactly what, and we're hoping for the best. But at no point, I don't think, did we think that it was a hoax. If anything, we probably prayed it was.
Yeah.
But it seemed pretty clear that something had gone down, and it was just a question of figuring what the facts were and being able to bring them to everybody once we knew exactly what was going on.
Now, did you know Allison Parker or Adam Ward? Because when I look at their pics, they have this smile, and they look like just such great people. So I just get the vibe that they were really good people to be around. So did you know them personally?
I did. I wouldn't say I knew either of them well, but we had contact with both of them. Adam was, when he was in college, an intern for one of our sister stations in the building as on one of their sports talk shows. He was an intern there. Allison had done some stories with us, being on at the same time in the morning. If they're doing any sort of live shots, then she would certainly be the one that was involved. So we had done some stuff with her in the past 6 months. So, I wouldn't say I knew them well, but I certainly knew them both. And, extending beyond that, again, we know everybody over there. So we knew that it was a situation. Allison was actually dating another reporter on the show that I did know better, who does the 6 and 11 o'clock broadcasts. So, all of it coming together, we certainly knew of all of them and all of their situations, but I don't want to give it any sort of credence that I knew them better than somebody else or anything like that.
That makes sense. Now, since you've seen them in the hall and you knew who they were to a point, had you ever seen the suspect who is being accused of shooting them live on the air, the former reporter? Did you know him, or had you seen him before?
I did not know him at all. As best I can remember, I did not have any contact with him. Channel 7 is, as far as this city goes, they are the number one news station. They are the leader in the broadcast, so they sort of have the largest staff. We broadcast to a large listening area as far as mileage goes. We're talking 2-hour drives in pretty much any direction from Roanoke is still considered the listening area. So they broadcast a wide swath. So they have reporters all throughout that. And we know some of them, we never see others because they're 100 miles away. So he is someone that as to my knowledge, I did not have any contact with when he worked there.
Do you think this was a case of like mental health, or was he just disgruntled and was just a plain bad apple? Because a normal person doesn't do this 2 years after being fired. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I would chalk that up to all would be the answer.
Yes.
I don't know all of the details. There's certainly plenty of speculations rolling around, and you can see and hear claims that he was making, and I don't claim to know what any of them are, but there's anyone that will do this on any level. I don't care what the situation is.
Yeah.
Obviously, mentally is not healthy.
Zach, have you seen the video? I first said to myself, I don't want to see it. There's no point to. But then I kept getting tempted, and then I'm like, fine, I'll watch the video. And now I wish I didn't see the video from his point. Have you seen it? Because it's very dark.
I saw it.
Yes.
It happened at a time that, we're still gathering information and trying to figure out what was going on. And honestly, we were in the mode when things like that were going down. This person had not been caught yet. And our main goal as a service of this listening area is catch this individual. This is an area, for people that don't know, that dealt with the Virginia Tech shooting in 2007.
Yes.
That is our backyard as well. So it's unfortunate to say, but this is something that we dealt with before, and I've been experienced in dealing with. And, we don't speak of those shooters' names ever around here because they don't deserve it, but show their pictures or anything like that. But earlier this morning, it was a totally different situation because the person had not been caught. And people's safety is of the utmost importance, and we're trying to figure out who this person is, where this person is. I mean, every single school in this area was on lockdown. I have children. They were on lockdown. So, I know that what I'm going through is what everyone else listening is going through, and the number one goal is find this person, make everyone be safe, and then go from there.
Since your kids were on lockdown and places were on lockdown, did your program director ever suggest that you guys go home for the day, or was it a plan that you would go through with it and inform the audience of Roanoke, Virginia?
That's our job.
Yes.
So, of course, we're not leaving. I'm not leaving. Where am I going to go? And what am I going to do instead? I mean, we're a show that's on 6 to 10 in the morning. I was on till 12:30 today because we weren't leaving until that person was captured or dead, which is what ended up being the case. Point being, we weren't leaving until that happened. When the Virginia Tech shooting occurred back in 2007, we had actually left the broadcast for the day, and I had actually gone home, and when information started to come in, I was back, and I was there until, I don't even remember, 6, 7 o'clock at night, and I was on the next day, and I think we were on for 8 or 9 hours in a row when we were there. It's, as a radio station, you're serving your community, especially on a local level. National news can deliver you the facts, but they can't deliver you information like your child's school is or isn't on lockdown. Here's where your traffic is, those situations. So we were staying on as long as we needed to stay on, and there was no question of that.
What are some things you do as the host of the show with Annie Myers and Monica Brooks, where you guys go from talking about celebrity news to talking about something as tragic and as evil as this? What are some things you do as a host where you get into the zone and talk about something as tragic as this?
I mean, we serve the community, like I said before, and that's always first and foremost. And we serve it in the majority through an entertainment and comedy-based level. But when push comes to shove and situations are going to come up, then your first need is basic public need, and that's what we're going to do. But what we're going to become, I mean, we're not a news outlet. I'm not sitting here in the business of trying to break news, and we were actually extremely cautious in that situation today because all sorts of random stories start flying around of, oh, this is the shooter, or maybe this is the person, or we heard this. And if you run with all of the things that you hear, you're going to broadcast a ton of incorrect information, possibly slanderous information as well. And
yes.
So you have to walk away from all that. We're not a news outlet. We never will be, and I'm not. That's not our bag, and that will never be our bag, which is fine. What we are is an outlet for the community. We're going to deal more with what do people need? How do people feel?
Yeah.
We're going to leave all of that stuff to the professionals. We're going to report it as we hear it, but we're not going to go out of our way to be something that we are not.
Now, since this happened at 6:45 a.m., throughout the whole day, how would you describe the vibe of Roanoke, Virginia, like in a few words? Like, what's the overall vibe that you feel?
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the best word. It extends beyond in this one because as someone in the media, it deals with other people in the media, and all of that is just, it's surreal. People watch this happen on live television, and they watch the thing unfold, and this is the first situation we're going through where essentially a crime and a murder was played out on live TV and then live on social media as well. I'd like to think it would be the only one. The reality says it probably isn't. So the whole thing was weird. What I do know about this area is this is a relatively small area. I mean, it's not a tiny area. I certainly don't want to say that, but the area runs small. People know people. Everybody knows everybody. I mean, I've lived here 13 years. I'm not from here, but it didn't take long for a situation like this to come up. I mean, I play softball with people that were police and EMT and on the scene and letting me know what was going on in the area and who they were looking for and what was going on. So it's certainly a community that everybody knows everybody and everybody's looking out for each other. So, my hope is that it makes this community stronger and more diligent. But, I mean, who knows? It's just weird. It's the best way to sum it up.
Now, I want your take on this. Would you say this is an act of terrorism? What do you think?
I don't really know what the word is on that. I mean, I'll tell you what to me it's an act of more than anything else is it's a symptom of a problem that we deal with in this society of blaming and a victim culture type thing where we're dealing with people who say so-and-so wronged me, therefore they must pay. Everybody gets caught up in their own stuff. They feel like this is the most important thing in the world, and I need to do something big, and I need to make a statement and whatever. And I don't know. Anything that causes terror is an act of terror. That's for sure. So if you want to call it a definition of that, then fine. But what it is, it's a symptom of a larger problem of we get in these situations where it's like, nothing is your fault. It's never your own actions. It's always someone else's fault, and someone else is to blame, and they must pay, and I must figure out how to make them pay. And I'd love it if that would change.
And now, do you think there needs to be more awareness about mental illness, or is this just a case of a guy who is just plain evil, and he just was never meant to do any good? What do you think?
I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
In theory, sure, but you think of situations like this, or everyone has situations in their life where there might be someone that they don't fully think is there, or something that might rise up with suspicions. But it's like, this is a person who, as far as I know, had not done anything in the past that would warrant, for example, police action. I mean, how do you call the police and say this person seems weird to me? And what are they supposed to do about it? There's really nothing they can do about it. So, I mean, I guess your hope would be that there would be some sort of mental care thing in place where there'd be better facilities, or it's just better opportunities to be able to say, hey, I'm concerned about a situation, and then have there be some sort of follow-up. I mean, you think about if yesterday someone voiced their concern about this individual, if there's no proof and there's no examples of anything, which there really wasn't as far as I know, what is anyone supposed to do about that?
Now, where do you see the town and WDBJ going from here since this happened?
Forward, I guess, is the only thing you can say. I mean, what are you supposed to do? I mean, I know for us, for example, we're going to be on tomorrow morning, and we're going to be live, and we're going to do the show that we do. We're an entertainment and comedy-based show. I was saying it earlier today, and I mean it, is we're going to go on, we're going to do what we do, and we're going to last. And no one will take that from us ever. This person took what he took, and that's all he gets. He doesn't get anything else. He doesn't get to take that. And moving forward, we will not give that up, ever.
Well, Zack, before I let you go, if there are people who want to check out your show and they're not in the listening area, how can they hear the morning thing?
We broadcast live online in the mornings at K92radio.com. We're also on TuneIn Radio if you have that app, which is free, as far as I know, for just about everything. And if you don't catch us live around 6 to 10 Eastern Time in the morning, we do run a podcast as well of our broadcast. We did not podcast this morning's show, just given the situation, and that's just, that's not anything that we need to be out there for any reason. But on a normal basis, if you went to our website, again, K92radio.com, and you clicked on us or you found us in iTunes, you can get that normally as well.
Well, Zack, thank you for coming on Happy Hour and giving your insights on this awful thing that happened, and your town and everything around it will be in my prayers, my man.
Thanks, Ryan. Be well.
All right. Thanks, Zack. That is Zack Jackson from The Morning Thing on K92 in Roanoke, Virginia. And I mean, it's just such an awful thing. It was one of those things where I woke up this morning and I went, really? And I was just immediately heartbroken. I kept going back and forth saying to myself, should I watch the video? Should I not watch the video? And I didn't know what to do. And I watched the video, and I'm just kind of I'm wondering if I shouldn't have watched it. It just kind of shook me up. I feel like I'm going to have to go to the gym tonight and just lift out of anger. I mean, it just makes you so mad that someone could be that sick in the head and that crazy that they would take away someone's life just because they're a disgruntled employer. I mean, it's one of those things where I know it's cliche, but life is short and we just need to be there for each other. And if you ever see anybody that might need some help in life, or you ever see anything that might need to get reported, don't be afraid. Talk to somebody. If you see something suspicious, or even if you're feeling weird yourself, always remember that there are people you can talk to. And you don't have to take this way out. And there's always a way to get help. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's the one part that just makes me want to cry inside is the fact that he then takes his own life. It is his mission to take away the lives of Allison Parker and Adam Ward, and then he takes away his own life. It's just such pointless violence, and I can sit here for 20 minutes and talk about it, but it's not going to solve anything. I mean, it's just one of those things where everybody needs to be there for each other. Sometimes we get caught up in our work lives and our school lives and our athletic lives, whatever you do in your free time. But I think we need to go back to being there for each other, being there for our neighbors, this and that, and just appreciating life and always having everybody's backs, because this is just a reminder that something crazy can happen at the split second of a moment. She was doing a very friendly and happy newscast, and all of a sudden a former coworker kills her and the cameraman on air. I mean, you never know what can happen in that split second. So it's just a reminder that we need to appreciate each and every moment. This has been Happy Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. Peace out.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.